Women's Arts Center from Abby Steinglass, and I accompanied her to one of those evenings where they had critiques, and I was delighted to have the opportunity to visit the center at that time. I decided to join, and I met with Ronnie Tuft, and it turned out they needed somebody to help with staffing the exhibitions, and so I took that to be my job for a while, and eventually we made it into a managerial position because I was able to stay during the week. One of the purposes of keeping it open was to stabilize the gallery so that people could take us seriously. That included people who were reviewing shows. In addition to doing that job, I found that I was able to meet many of the different groups that were occurring at the center, the photography group, the workshop group, brown bag lunches. Extremely exciting things were going on. I was really impressed by the caliber of experience and the thoughtfulness and the camaraderie that came from being a member of the Washington Women's Arts Center. You really got a sense of people who were dedicated and eager to see that this center was going to enhance the art scene in Washington, D.C. I also became part of the exhibitions committee, and one of the things that we were doing because of the From the Center show, we were doing an outreach program, and that meant we were showing our exhibition at venues that were not galleries, and that included a police station. It included the Women's Detention Center, which turned out to be quite exciting because some of the artists who were able to connect with these women who were in a situation that was very fraught with sadness. And Christina Edmondson was one of the people who went to bring our exhibition and ask questions about how they felt about the paintings that were shown. She was able to connect with them in the sense that she showed them what it was for her to take photographs of very simple things, and that brought out stories from some of these women. In addition to the energy that flowed from the center to the community, it was very interesting to see how you could bring poetry, photography, fabric arts, paintings, printmaking, all of this into the center and have wonderful shows every month. The opening of a fabric exhibition with Joan Mondale visiting was very exciting for all of us, and I think it was Joan Mister who was able to bring her to the center from her association with her as a neighbor and a friend. Everybody was very excited to see her encouragement of women artists. I traveled to the Dominican Republic with my husband after a few years of being at the center. And what it did was to give me courage to develop a community of artists working together. And so all the things that I was learning at the center, the camaraderie and the do-it-yourself and make sure that the people were seeing people's art, translated into many of the experiences I had in the Dominican Republic. Years later, I belonged to other groups, but many of the people that I met at the Women's Center were part of these groups in Washington, D.C. In the last number of years, I've been working with Group 93, which is made up of MFAs and people who have studied at American University. Every year they have a show at the end of the critique sessions that go on throughout the year. Many of the women in this group are people who came from the Washington Women's Arts Center. it's wonderful to have that feeling of a continuity of people that you've known over the years and to get to know them better through this kind of session.